A while ago I made a video on the parting opener, which is the 17 Nexus, and I told everyone that it might be the future of Protoss. Now, it hasn't quite worked out that way. It doesn't seem like in every matchup it is actually that much better. We see some use for it in PvP, we see almost no use for it in PvZ, but in PvT I think there is still something there. So I decided to do a good old build order guide on a 17 Nexus into Blink Colossi. Now, this is a build that has been around for a very long time, but with a quick twist. And I benchmarked the builds against each other. I think what you do with the build order that I do right here, the 17 Nexus, is you give up a little bit of early game safety to get a slight probe lead. You get 2 to 3 probes more at around the 4-minute mark. Well, earlier already as well, but I took my benchmark at the 4-minute mark, and that seemed to be pretty solid. So how do we play it? We play 16 gateway, 14 pylon, 16 gateway, 17 Nexus. This can be done with the 17 probe that you just rally down. We do not chrono boost yet. Please do note that, okay? Not a single chrono boost is being used. We cut a worker, get a gas at 17, and start our worker production again. Here I have a little bit of an issue. I am not sure if I want to scout around my base for proxies, or if I want to send it straight across the map. If I scout around my base for proxies and I see a proxy, perhaps I can play Cybercore Zealot. But if the proxy is further away, perhaps I rather scout his base. The moment our gateway finishes, at 18 supply we throw down a Cybercore, and then we start a probe production the moment we can. We send a probe down to the low ground to construct the pylon, and we can actually chrono boost our probes right here. You can also wait until after your pylon starts if you feel better with that. Then the moment we can afford it, which is at 20 supply, we get our next assimilator, and we're basically going into a pretty standard game. Our probe will scout, hey, is there a command center here? What is his first unit? Perhaps a marine, perhaps a reaper. And we're just gonna start rallying straight into this gas. Once our Cybercore finishes, there is a moment where we can't afford our warp gate yet, so we're gonna start with our adept, chrono boost it, then the moment we can, start our warp gate. We rally into the gas. We can also pull into the gas. Will cost us a little bit of minerals, but slightly faster gas mining. And then our Nexus should finish at that point. If we are playing against a Reaper opener, I think on a lot of maps it is nice to chrono boost your Stalker. If we're playing against a Marine opener, don't chrono boost your Stalker. We don't need it that fast. In this game I decided to not chrono boost my Stalker. It's not the end of the world if you don't have it chrono boosted. With good adept movement you can still chase a Reaper around and ensure that he doesn't scout your potential tech. But if you're not feeling too comfortable chrono boosting this Stalker, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Once we reach 145 or 150 and 100, we throw down a Twilight Council. Do note that we're continuously building probes and we put one chrono boost on our natural Nexus as well. We start our Twilight Council, and after our Twilight Council, with continuous probe production, once we can afford it, we start our second gateway, which should be around now. There we go. Around the 3-minute mark. We only, after that first chrono boost on our workers, we only do one more chrono boost on our natural. So that's 2 chrono boosts total, and all of our other chrono boosts will either go into gateway units, so the adept Stalker, or into the Twilight Council, where we will be getting Blink relatively soon. Now, because I want to be playing Blink Colossi, rather than straight away going for Blink, I actually get a robotics facility first. So robotics facility before Blink, then when I can afford my Blink, I start my Blink. I get a 3rd pylon. You can decide where you want it. I always like to have one pylon on the edge, but you can also build your 3rd pylon here and then your 4th pylon here, or you can build your 3rd pylon here and your 4th pylon here. You can build a pylon here if you want to. You could build a pylon. You could build it in the middle of the map. It doesn't really matter where you construct that pylon, but ideally you have it for some type of scouting. Okay? Continuous worker production, as always, and the moment we get 14 out of 16 on our minerals in our natural, we take both of our gases on that natural base. So this is where our build starts to differ a little bit if you compare it to a regular 2-gate Blink with a faster 3rd base. our warp gate finishes at the same time as our gateway. And the moment these gateways transformed, we will warp in 2 Stalkers. Our opponent sadly is a Zerg, but this is a PvT build, of course. The moment our robotics facility finishes, we get an observer out. We can chrono boost it, but we don't really need to. Now, people always ask me, hey, how do you scout? I like to use my first adept for scouting to make sure that I know what's coming out of the natural, and afterwards we can use this first observer, which we send straight away across the map. So the adept is to make sure that nothing hits us by ground, no tank pushes, and then the observer should cover an area extra, which then our stalker should be able to take care of any mine drops, potential banshees, that type of stuff. I like to add a couple of extra pylons, by the way. I think maybe even one too many. I think 53 out of 62 or 55 out of 62 is fine to build a Nexus in. Before you get the Nexus, don't forget you want the robotics bay. You want that to go down between 415 and 425, somewhere around that area. Then once we can afford it, we get the Nexus around 430-ish. And we get our second observer, which is going to be spotting the areas around our base. First observer will go across the map, of course. Now, our blink is almost finished after using 3 chrono boost on it, and we keep our stalkers in between the bases. If we see a threat coming from this side, we'll move our stalkers down here. If we see a threat coming from the main base or in between, we will move our stalkers accordingly, and with blink we should be able to catch most of the threats and kill them. We add a third gateway, and we're gonna once our RoboBay finishes, should be capable of immediately starting a Colossi. I like to get 3 observers total. That way you have nice vision of the map around you. So 1 observer here, maybe 1 observer here, and then 1 observer on the other side. At this point, our observer saw what he is doing. Now, if we're being 1-1-1 all-in, rather than getting a forge, perhaps we much rather get a couple of batteries and maybe get a disruptor over a Colossi, or maybe even an Immortal. Just keep warping in extra units and get static defenses. But if we see a standard 3-Rex or even a triple CC, in that case we're just going to be focusing on getting a Forge, getting Thermal Lens, sinking our Chrono Boost, not in probes anymore. Or well, not anymore, it's not like we did that a lot anyway. Hello? What did I just say? Not sink it in probes, and this guy's an idiot. Sink it in your robotics facility, guys. This robotics facility. This guy needs to be chrono boosted, like his life depends on it. Colossi build very slow. They take 54 seconds. If you can decrease that time a little bit with some chrono boost, that is good. That is positive. Now, what I like to do if I'm playing against a 3-Rex build is I'll get 16, 14, or 12 workers on my third base, don't take gases, and I go up to 5 to 6 gateways. Make sure that you're never halting your Colossi production. So here I see, hey, I actually want to get a 6 gate probably, but my Colossi is about to finish. So instead what I'm going to do is I wait a little bit with that gateway and I queue up a Colossi, and then now I get the gateway 3 seconds later. If it's a 3-Rex, I like to get a battery per base as well. There we go, battery here. Don't think I built it here, but you definitely should. And then I got my +1 going, I got my charge going, my thermal lens is going, and around 620 to, let's say, 640. What is that? 640 is the timing where your opponent will hit you with that 3-Rex pressure, basically. And then you should have a Colossi, 2 Colossi, thermal lens close to being done. And you have a nice little army. Now, if you don't get attacked or you stop the attack and you think, hey, what do I want to do afterwards, Kevin? I have just the solution for you, my friends. So what I like to do, ideally what I'd like to do is after 3 Colossi, so here's the second one, then I get a third one. That is how it works. Can't skip any numbers in StarCraft. This bad boy will take care of the Ling run by. After the third one, I get a prism. I throw down 2 more gateways. I get a 5th gas. And I throw down a Templar Archives. Over here. Kevin, over. There we go. Over there. You can build it anywhere, but you can build it here, or here, or here. I don't care. Just build it, okay? And then what we do is we try to make sure that our opponent can't be on the map. We can do that with the help of our vision. So we have good vision here. Maybe this one could be a bit more to the middle. Make sure there's nothing of our opponent on the map. And we just move across the map with Charge Lot, Archon, 3 Colossi, and 5 to 6 Stalkers. Or 6 to 8 Stalkers. It doesn't really matter. And then you just move across the map with it. You can take a fort base behind this. And this is pretty much the play we're going for with +1. Now, if you say, Kevin, that sounds very all-in and your PvT is terrible, how about I do something what good players do? And then I'll say, okay, that also sounds fine. Instead of that, what you could do is you still get the same setup, but you don't warp in as many zealots quite. Instead, you get a fort base, you add a second robotics facility, you use the prism as a harassment tool, you put it over here, set like 5 zealots in this corner, and then you start pumping out disruptors. And the moment with this observer, you see your opponent moving out, you send in the 5 zealots that you put over there, the prism that you have over here, you fly in as well, and then all you need to do is defend with disruptors. He will either need to all in or he'll need to go back, and once you get a good disruptor count, you win, hopefully, if you macro well, if you control it well, and if your opponent doesn't know what liberators are. But yeah, basically that. So that's this build. I will have the replay as always, hopefully not in the description. If it's not there, feel free to leave a comment, call me an idiot. If it is there, please leave a thumbs up and also leave a nice comment saying, wow, I'm so proud of you, Harstem, for leaving the replay down there. That's very impressive. I can't believe this is your job and you still managed to mess it up 9 out of 10 times. Something along those lines. All right, that's gonna be it. I hope this was a clear guide. Now, yeah, the one thing I wanted to still mention is that the difference between this version with the 17 Nexus is that versus early game proxies, it might be a little bit worse, but you do have slightly better eco, especially mineral eco, and it really kind of snowballs. So I'd suggest trying this out. If you don't like it, then I'll also have like the first 5 minutes of a more standard build order, just a gate cyber into Nexus. So that will also be down there. That doesn't go quite as long. I think it's only like a 4.5 or 5 minute game. But you'll see like the follow-ups are the same. It's just the opening that's slightly different. I hope this was helpful. Bye-bye.